Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Novosad.
I'm very happy to be here, and I'll tell you guys right off the bat, weird things happen to me, you know, when you look like me, like people come up to me and give me aluminum cans for no apparent reason. I'm saving them all up, man. I'm going to make a shield out of them in case shit gets weird, you know? Some of you are digging this, and some of you are looking at me like, didn't we see this guy in the alley by the parking garage? And that was me, man. I write these jokes in the dirt and then come in and try them out. So, but yeah, weird shit happens. And here's an example of something weird that happened to me. I was walking on a pedestrian mall. I'm dressed like this. I feel, well, thanks. People don't usually laugh there, but I'll take it, that's for sure. I could use that laugh, but I was dressed like this. I had a show a little later. It was broad daylight. There's like 60 or 70 people there on the mall, and this woman sees me, and she makes a beeline right towards me, you know? And I knew that she saw me because if you look at me, I got a weird eye, and we made eye contact, you know? And that fucked up her eye for about 30 minutes, and had to give her some exercises and stuff to get it back, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, she makes a beat. I thought she recognized me being a comic, but that wasn't it. So she stops right in front of me, and she has a doggy bag, and she says to me, "Hey, buddy, are you hungry?" You know? I mean, that's rude. Like I say, I'm literally just walking. I'm not carrying a sign or anything. So this woman looked out over like 60 people. She's like, nope, nope, nope. That bastard looks hungry, yeah. So what do you say to that? You know, she's like, hey, buddy, are you hungry? I'm like, no, but I'm horny. And I'll tell you, things took a turn after that. It turns out I was hungry. You know. So let me have a sip of this beer here. Now, I'm going to talk about this tonight, too. I think we're all over 21, and so we can talk about this. And I'll give you a little teaser before you take a sip of this beer. Sex. We're going to talk about sex, all right? Now, I'm 70, you guys. I'm not going to lie. And they say that sex changes for you when you get older. And that's true, man. I mean, it changed for me. For one thing, the prices have gone up, you know? and now there's talk about a tariff. So that's, you know. Somehow the Strait of Hormuz being closed is fucking me up too. But my friends are like, you should buy America. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. That one always makes me laugh. But here's the thing. I'll tell you, I'm not even a comic. I just came in to get out of the heat for a while. Said, give me a beer and let me tell my stories, all right? No, I'm a comic. But here's the thing. If you're wondering about me, I was married. I was married for 15 years. Spent a lot of time there. Thanks. Well, and I'm divorced now, but you can clap for that too. I'm happy I'm divorced. But oh, thanks. Yeah. Wow. That's pretty funny. I love that. But here's the thing. They say, and we're still talking about sex, they say that your sex life gets boring when you're divorced, and that's true. That happened to me. I got bored. The other night, I fell asleep while I was masturbating, and you can imagine how I felt when I woke up, you know. On the bus, it was weird, man. And the driver pulled over and said, "Hey, you're going to have to get off here." I was like, "Give me another minute, I will. I think I'm going to need a transfer." Now, and my ex, I'm from Colorado. I don't think that comes as a shock, but I'm not a skier because I'm already sliding downhill in so many other areas in my life. But I am from Colorado. My ex-wife still lives in Colorado, and that's very eco-friendly, you know. And she's so eco-friendly that her vibrator is a hybrid, and it runs on bitterness and ethanol. So that's, yeah. Oh, thanks, yeah. Thanks, you guys. Now, I want to talk about this next, you know, because we were talking about the environment and stuff. Let me have another sip of beer. So we're talking about the environment. And, you know, I keep reading and hearing about microplastics and all that stuff. They're everywhere. And I'm pretty sure that I've got some microplastics in me, you know, because the other day, I shat out an action figure. And I was like, this is the Green Hornet. That's a, you know, shouldn't I be able to do Superman or something? I don't know. And then I've been hearing about pharmaceuticals in the water supply, you know. There's a bunch of pharmaceuticals in the water supply because of pharmaceutical manufacturing runoff, and the wastewater plants can't get out all the pharmaceuticals, you know? And so everybody says how bad that is, but I'm like, I think we should try to make some fucking lemonade out of it, you know? Now, I have to say this before we go any further. I am not a doctor, but so you can take this with a grain of salt or sand, whichever grain you like. But here's the thing, though. Let's say that you have high cholesterol, all right? You have some high cholesterol, and rather than getting a prescription, I think you should go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for like a 2-week vacation there and drink a gallon of Milwaukee tap water every day for 2 weeks, because those people eat a lot of cheese, they drink a lot of beer. You know, there's a lot of Lipitor in the water supply, you know? So you go drink that water for 2 weeks and get your cholesterol checked. Comes down, I'd be all cocky in the fucking doctor's office. How about that shit, huh? I didn't have to get a prescription. There's no copay. What the hell? Now, like I say, I'm 70, and people my age have problems, you know, with erectile dysfunction. And I'm saying, you know, that's not me. I have a boner right now. But, oh, man. But let's say that you're suffering from some erectile dysfunction. I think, you know, you have to go and drink the tap water here in Sarasota, man. There's a lot of old people eating boner pills here, you know what I mean? I drank 1 cup of water and I had to call my doctor after 4 hours. So there's a lot of Viagra in the water. Now, I still want to talk about the environment some more, and I think the big problem is oil, and it's not that we need to conserve it, we need to use it all up, because they're not going to do shit until it's gone, you know? So, no, man, I like when you guys get quiet because you're not screw around. You're like, all right. But here's the thing, you know, I don't think we need to conserve it. We need to use it all up. And so I bought a 78 Buick Electra and I put it up on blocks and I run it 24/7, man. And I'm doing it on stolen credit cards because I'm trying to bring down Bank of America too, man. they're bringing me down with that $39 late fee, you know? I pay my bills on time. Every once in a while I'm late because of a forever stamp fuck up or something, but they socked me that $39. So I pushed all the buttons and everything to where you could finally talk to someone. And I got this person on the phone and I said, I'm no math major, but what makes you think I can pay the $39 late fee when I couldn't fucking make the minimum payment, you know? Hey, that should have been your first sign I was in trouble this month. If anything, you should lower it by $39 and let me have another swing at it, you know? It's good. Now, I'll tell you, I'm a bus rider. I don't think that comes as a shock. I'm sure if you saw me at a four-way stop, you'd be like, which way is this guy going to go? And that's when I'm walking. But I have a segment in my act that I call Jokes I Can Only Tell Here. And I write jokes about a specific area, you know, and then that I'm in. And so I thought it'd be fun to do a Sarasota version. And I have some notes here for that because, you know, my memory isn't all that good. But it turns out these aren't my notes. I'm supposed to pick up some laundry detergent later. No, so like I say, I ride the bus and I walk a lot. And so I'll just say this right off the bat. This is not the most pedestrian-friendly city that I've ever been in. I was crossing Ringling Boulevard at a crosswalk. Granted, there was no light, but there's the white parallel lines, you know, the sign with the people. So I'm like, clearly I can go, you know? And I got to the median, but then people were stopping, but they're looking at me like, I think I can legally hit this fucking guy now. I ended up on the hood of a car, and I got off in St. Petersburg, but worked out pretty well. I had lunch there. And then I just got hit by a southbound car and made it back in time for the show. Now, see, that's a joke I could only tell here because I tried telling that joke in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they didn't get it, you know? So then I was like, well, get out your phones, go to Google Maps, look at the directions from Sarasota to what the hell, St. Petersburg, and then picture me on the hood of a car for that amount of time, and I think you'll have a pretty good laugh. Now, I don't know if I have any other jokes I can tell here, but I wanted to look at this. Oh, I wanted to talk about this. This is a joke I can only tell here, and I have to put the mic in the stand to do this. This is really exciting, though, you know? I got this email at my website today, and it was people from Sears catalog, you know? Yeah. And they go, hey, we're bringing back the Sears catalog, sort of a retro thing, and we think that you would make a good Sears catalog model. And we understand you're going to be in McCurdy's Comedy Theater tonight. If we send a couple of representatives, could you please do a couple of catalog poses? And I know that's out of the ordinary here. We're taping this, but this is a good opportunity. And so I emailed them back and I said, man, I would love to do that. And I'd like to meet you Sears people. Maybe we could have a drink after the show. And they said, we prefer to remain anonymous, which I thought was weird. But if you guys don't mind, I would like to do a couple of catalog poses, all right? Thanks. And because I'm not going to lie, man, if I start making that Sears catalog money, my life's going to change. Hello, one-bedroom apartment is all I'm saying. All right. Here's the first one I call tailgating. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. And I'm not going to lie, tailgating is my best one. I mean, I'm no dummy. So I put tailgating first, but they said they want to. So here's my other one. It's called Waiting for a Bus on a Sunny Day, all right? Waiting for a bus on a sunny day. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. And I hope it leads to a Sears catalog gig, man. Now, you know, the way this business works is you're in a town for like 2 or 3 days. Like I'm going to be here this weekend. You're here for like 3 or 4 days. You have time to kill during the days. So I like to make my own fun. You know, like I will run out of a barber shop and go, don't go in there. I'm like, that guy is crazy. These are extensions. He tackled me and groomed me. And I will go to job interviews I'm not qualified for. Just looking like this, you know, it's a good way to kill an afternoon. And then they always ask the same questions, like, how many words can you type a minute? I'm like, well, it depends on the word. I can type the hell out of A. I never counted. Quite a few. And I'll do the weather door to door, you know. I just knock on someone's door, and if they answer, I'm like, it's pretty warm out here today, huh? And when you like to see me coming up to your door, looking through that peephole, going, man, if this guy's selling cookies, I'm buying, you know. That's good. And this happens to me no matter where I go, you know, whatever town, at least once during the week. Someone who doesn't even know I'm a stand-up comic feels comfortable enough to come up to me on the street and say things to me like, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I'm like, that is really rude, man. And I don't go up to people I think are weird looking and go, Lutheran, Lutheran, Lutheran. I don't know if you've ever hung out with a pack of Lutherans, but it gets weird, man. And I like that term, pack of Lutherans. It sounds like cigarettes you'd order on Sundays if you want to smoke. You know, you're like, make it a pack of Lutherans. I'm smoking for the Lord today. Now, I'm going to be here Sunday, and so I'm just curious, can you buy liquor in the liquor stores here on Sundays? Yeah, that's good. Where I'm from, you can't buy liquor in the liquor stores on Sundays. And you cannot buy a car on a car lot in Colorado on Sundays. And that was my favorite thing to do, man. I would get up bright and early on Sunday morning, get all liquored up. Let's go buy some cars, you guys. And I'll tell you, I'm a fan of buying liquor on Sundays because it makes church service fly by, you know? I'm like, no red wine for me, Padre. I'm drinking Fireball back here today. Figure that's where I'm going. I might as well get used to it. Oh. Wow, thanks for your concern about my soul. I'm so glad we captured that on video. I'm sure they'll be showing that one to the devil. I better have another sip of beer after that. Take another look at this. And, I travel. And I was recently in Des Moines, Iowa. I flew there. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know how much you're going to like this joke, but... Because, Des Moines is an old French word for shitty location. But no, they were nice there. I'm sorry. But I had to do that joke now. I was all loaded up in the chamber, But I flew to Des Moines because I've got that kind of money. And I almost joined the Mile High Club on that trip to Des Moines. So that was really exciting. We made it to 2,600 feet. And I was done. But, so I had a cataract, right? No laughing matter, I think, but no, it is a laughing matter. But I went in, and you have to go in for this pre-surgery meeting, right? And so the doctor says to me, they're asking me all these questions. And one of the questions he said was, how often are you examining your testicles? I said every 15 minutes. He said, that's why you're having problems with your vision. So, yeah. Wow. Thanks for sticking with me on that one. It took a little while to get there. So I go for a lot of walks, That's what I'm saying. And since I ride the bus, and I was riding the bus back home one night. It was a one-night show. And so it was, wow, did you see that? Something just flew out of my hair. So, I think that means it's going to be an early summer. I don't know. I had, like the Farmer's Almanac. I didn't expect it to happen right there, but I feel the need to report that to you. But anyway, it was a one-show night. And I come home, so it's pretty early. It's like 9:30, and I get the bus, and then I walk a few blocks, and I get into my house, and I'm walking in the kitchen. But the reason I'm thinking about this story is I have the same setup in my kitchen, with the curtains, of course, the two lamps that are mine, and I have a monitor with my fucking name on it, because I'm a megalomaniac or something. I don't know. But anyway, I come home and I hear this dripping sound, behind the wall. There's a wall behind the curtain. And I hear this dripping sound. So I check with my landlord. I text him. It's early enough. And he goes, check all the faucets, look under the cabinets, see if you see a leak. So I look and I don't see a leak. So he says, okay, we're going to send a couple of maintenance guys up tomorrow morning, and they'll check it out. So these two maintenance guys come up, and I swear it was Moses and Anthony. Those were their names, really. And so they come up, and they come into my kitchen, and they go, wow, this is quite the setup. I like the lamps, but I think your name up there is a little fucking much. But they go over to the wall, and they listen, and they go, yeah, there's a leak behind the wall. And I'm like, man, I want to work for you two guys, Like I troubleshoot it, and then you come over and go, yep, that's what it is. So then I felt like I was in a bad improv game, So I was like, what's next, fellas? What do you think? So I live on the second floor. There's a third-story apartment. They go up there, and then the dripping sound stops, and they come down, and they said, what you were hearing was your neighbor above you's bathtub faucet dripping into the basin. And so I played along at first, But then I thought about it, and I was like, is my hearing really that good? And if it is, shouldn't I be hearing all kinds of other shit up there? And did those guys tell him that I could hear that? And my neighbors are like, that's weird, man. That guy has a weird eye, but he hears like a fucking bat, So, a couple of weeks go by and the dripping sound starts again. My landlord calls. He goes, hey, the apartment below you is taking on water. I go, that's weird. You think it had anything to do with that dripping sound I reported a while back? So now it's just this guy, Anthony. I don't know what happened to Moses in the joke, but Anthony's in my apartment. The guy who owns the apartment below me is named George. They're talking on the phone, running water in the tub. Any leaks? Nope, no leaks, Then he puts on the shower. So I'm like, hey, Anthony, I'm no plumber, but I bet $100 that if the bathtub's not leaking, the shower's going to be good too, So, so I won $100 from Anthony, So they do all these tests. They can't figure it out. Now it's George, me, and Anthony in my bathroom. George looks at me and says, John, do you take a lot of baths? And I'm like, where are you going with this, George? But his theory was I was taking baths and filling up the tub so much that it was running through the overflow valve and then running into his apartment. And the reason I bring this big, long story up is this, you guys. When I came up here, I'm sure you made a judgment about me. I get it. I make judgments all the time. But I'd be willing to bet that $100 that I won from Anthony that not one person here tonight, when I walked up on this stage, said to themselves, I'll bet that guy takes a lot of baths, I'm gonna move stuff around a little bit here. You see that bag down there? I know you guys thought, wow, that's just his best shit from the alley, but I've got a prom joke I want to do. Now, I don't know if they don't charge for bags here at the grocery store, do they, or do they? No, where I'm from, they charge for bags, a dime for one of these bags. And it always gets really quiet during this part of the show. Everybody's like, just pay the damn dime, man. And it wouldn't be the first time that I bought a dime bag, I'll tell you that. But here's a little fun fact, and that is that these produce bags are free, So I bag my groceries in these. And then I'm like, I'm going to need some help to the bus stop because I have 83 of these. If you could send a bag boy, and that sounded weird. So then I was like, bag person, that sounded even worse. So then I was like, if you could send your lowest paid employee, I'd really appreciate it. But here's the thing, man. I go through the self-checkout and it prompts you. And it says, how many bags would you like to purchase? So I said 200, hit send. And the manager came out and he goes, sir, you didn't mean to purchase 200 bags, did you? And I was ready. I threw down a 20 and I was like, fuck yeah, I did. And I made him count out 200 of these like I was in Vegas. And then I was like, Oprah, you get a bag, you get a bag, you get a bag. So he came out and said, sir, you have to stop. You can't do that. I said, you can't stop me. I bought these bags. I'm doing this. And it turns out they could stop me. Now, I want to talk about this book before I go. And this one is for sale, but I didn't write it. So I just have the one. But this book, it's called The Lunchbox Surprise, and I wrote an alternative ending, and I want to share it with you. But you know what? I did this, and then the author and the illustrator of Lunchbox Surprise contacted me and said, hey, here's another surprise. We don't like you doing this. But here's how it starts. It's time for lunch. It's time to eat. The teacher says, now take your seat. All right, that's pretty good. Wow, this book's falling apart. My lunch is best, say Jan and Pam. I'm going to call bullshit right off the bat, man. Haven't seen any lunch. Don't know how many kids are in the class. Calm your asses down, Jan and Pam. I'm going to skip ahead because this thing reads long, man. Max has chicken, rice, and peas. So I'm guessing Max is Lebanese. Yeah, I just hope he has his paperwork in order. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But Sam has nothing, not a spot. Sam has nothing his mom forgot. I know, it takes a weird turn. I'm like, what the hell is Sam's mom getting into? She's sending an empty lunchbox to school. That's the story I want to read. Now here's the part I wrote. Sam's mom is a bitch. Thank you all so much, you guys. Take care. Have a good night.
John Novosad, ladies and gentlemen.